today's my first check-in of the Poppy War reading vlog, and I started this book 2 weeks ago already, and this is the first check-in that I do because I haven't read much. I'm 117 pages into the story, and I haven't read anything at all this week. And then last week I had to finish A Gathering of Shadows. So this had to be put on the back burner, and I was really hoping I would be able to finish this book this week, but I was obviously not able to. I'm thinking of making this a spoiler-filled vlog, so you can go step by step with me on every single thing that I think, and then I will separately upload a spoiler-free review. But yeah, so far I am really enjoying this book. I have some annotations here that I have already. I like Tudor Ferrick. He was pretty freaking funny. I'm also listening to this with the audiobook, just so you guys know. And he's pretty funny. I like how he decided to help Rin after she gave him the opium. That was pretty funny. I don't like them, but I like her foster parents. I think they're her aunt and her uncle. I just love how evil they are and how just like ruthless, and they just like mistreat her. So far I have seen self-harm, talk of rape, and pedophilia. Fun. In this one it says, so Rin kept a candle by her books, dripping hot wax on her arm if she nodded off. Her eyes would water in pain, she would wipe her tears away, and she would resume her studies. The day she took her exams, her arms were covered in burn scars. And that is only page 22. Reading that just left me like, oh my god. Like, you can see how dedicated Rin is, and obviously she's coping with it in a very negative way. She's doing something that's wrong, but I think that just shows how far she's willing to go. And then when she was actually put in the scroll, and then she was like at the top, but everyone was like, ugh, I wanted to punch all of them. Oh yeah, and they didn't even want to let her go into the school because she's a peasant. I was like seriously, you're not gonna let her go into the school? Like, whatever. The little kid made me very sad, but I honestly did not care enough about him to feel sad about him staying with, you know, her aunt and uncle. I understand he's like a little kid and she's like horrible, but I'm just like, whatever, let's keep moving. I actually realized like this is going pretty quickly. Like, a lot has happened in 100 pages. Like, she went to the school, she took her test, we got her backstory, and now we're like moving into what's happening. I don't know why I expect this book to be like really slow, but it's going pretty fast. I don't like how it literally has 3 pages filled with history. Like, we learn about the Empire and how they got there and this and that, and I'm just like, what? Like, I don't get it. Maybe it's because it's an adult book and I'm not used to reading adult books. Yeah, I don't think I have that much to say. Again, it is like 100 pages into it. I'm really enjoying it. I like Rin a lot. She's very dedicated. She's kind of a badass. Obviously she does things in the wrong way, and when she decided to have the operation, I was like, no. Like, I think that just goes to show how far she's willing to go, but it's also kind of like a distorted view that she has of it. Obviously, like, if you don't want to have children, genuinely, it's fine, but if you do it like for the reasons that she's doing, it's just like, but no. And then everyone's like, not everyone, like that one girl who's her roommate is like, I can't believe you actually did that. I'm like, I know, I can't either. At first when she mentioned her period, I was like, oh my god, this is actually really funny. Like, her getting her period and she doesn't know like what's happening and all that stuff. I was like, this is really funny. And then she like got her uterus ripped out. Obviously there's like badass woman who like can have children, and like it's kind of like, oh, but I think that just shows how flawed the character is, that's her view of the world and also the people around her, because we also have some characters who are like, you shouldn't do this, like it's not that like serious. And if in the future it's like, oh, she made it because she got the operation and then the other girls don't make it, I'm just gonna be like, oh, like why? No, like, oh, don't do that. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I'm actually gonna read a little bit right now. That was really creepy, I'm sorry. Right now she's with the lore master, who's kind of a creep, I'm not gonna lie. He does opium, yum. And June is being a butthole, and he doesn't want them to go outside. And I just hope everything goes well. I'll again film all of my reactions as they happened if I have anything to say. Okay, so I know that gods, what did I call this? If they are gods, I think they're like a thing here, and they just alluded to Zhang being possibly a god. So it says, Zhang moved through the world like he didn't belong there. He acted as if he came from a country of near humans, people who acted almost exactly like Kinara, or Nikara, but not quite. And his behavior was that of a confused visitor who had stopped bothering with trying to imitate those around him. He didn't belong, not simply in Synagard, but in the very idea of a physical earth. He acted like the rules of nature did not apply to him. Perhaps they didn't. So, I'm guessing he's a god. I don't know if I'm gonna do like checkings every time. Hopefully it's like not. Are you guys bored already? Whoops, I'm gonna keep reading. Rin has issues. She's definitely a flawed character. Like, I hope she develops in the future, but she has anger issues. She has just issues dealing with her emotions and how she's feeling and all that stuff. But really hope that, you know, she develops. There's still a huge chunk where she can literally become a different person. But those are just my thoughts at the moment. I haven't actually read that much when you think about it. But I think that's all I'm gonna read for now. I might read like another chapter, or maybe I could even try to get to part, hold on, where is it? Part 2. It's only this much. I don't know. We'll see. But that's gonna be my final checking for today. I'm ready to go to sleep. So, yes. See you guys on the next one. Goodbye. Hello. Hi. It's been a few days since I made an update on the Poppy War. It is right here. Oh, I'm dropping it. Ugh. I'm gonna say I read about 100 plus pages. What has happened? Rin called the god, even though Zhang told her not to, repeatedly. Zhang called also the god, and he died. The kid that used to fight with Rin, he got hurt. Katai, my love, is in another team, or what do they call them? Yeah, and she went to the Psych, which is the the assassins for the Empress. And what's his name is there? Alton. She still has a crush on him. She's like, oh my god, he's so cute. And I'm like, we get it. He's kind of a jerk, and he can wield power very well. That's so far what I've read. What am I thinking? I hope Zhang is alive. He was so funny, and the book has really taken a turn, and it's become more of this violent story. Now we're in the war zone, a war has started, and these kids have to grow up so quickly. And I heard someone say, I think it was Piera, she said that it is how someone becomes the villain. And I can kind of say that Rin does very questionable things, and she doesn't like to follow the rules, and I could see where that could lead to her being the villain of the story, and if it does happen, that would be very interesting. Alton is such a great fighter, and she's definitely not, and she can tell, and I guess it kind of like hurts her to know that she's not that good when it comes to like the actual battlefield, because she can't really control what's happening, and Alton can do it so well. And really, I'm just really interested in the story and where it's gonna go, and then where this series is gonna go, and I just really hope I finish it very soon. Okay, June is probably the most annoying character to ever exist. I hate him with everything that is in me. Yeah. Also, there's a little scene here where Rin is asking Alton how he controls the power of the Phoenix, because she can't do it, and she like doesn't understand how he does it. And she says, then how do you do it? How do you make it stop? Because you have to make the flames stop. And it says, Alton leaned back away from the flames. I don't, he said. And for some reason, at this point, I thought of the Hulk, because he's always like, I'm always angry. So he's like always on fire. I don't know why that's what I thought. I just thought it was very funny. Also, I forgot to add, they keep saying that Rin is a Spearly, but for some reason, I really just don't buy it. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's like a different explanation to it, because it feels like it comes out of nowhere. Like, oh, I guess I'm a Spearly now, and I'm just like, really? Like, I just stabbed my book with a red pen. Cool. That's a fun little mark. Hello guys, I just thought I would update you on the Poppy War and my thoughts on it. I have some thoughts on what is happening in the story. Right now, we're in the battle scene. Obviously, if you're watching this vlog and you haven't read it, like, spoilers. We're in the battle scene. Rin has just been attacked by this weird shape-shifting thing. Najah is pretty much left for dead by Alton, and he is ruining it for me. He is such an ass in such an inexplicable way. Like, he's so cruel, and the fact that he left Rin's friend behind, I'm finding it hard to like him, and I used to like him, and I thought he was gonna be like this brooding guy who turns out to be like kind of sweet, but he's still like tough, and he's like gonna train her and make her become like this amazing warrior, but he's just pushing her to her limits, and it is going a way that I am scared of. I don't want her to end up dating him. I really don't, because then it would turn into a toxic relationship, and I don't do that. Like, I don't. It's just like, ugh. And the fact that she was fighting the monster and she was like, I think I love him. I'm like, no, like, this is, no. She has this sick view of him as a commander, like she has to impress him, and it's just wrong. And I know it's not the writer wanting it to seem this way, because we have outside people come in like Najah that kind of point out that, hey, he hit you. Are you okay? Are you just gonna let him speak to you like that? Are you just gonna let him hit you like that? You know? And obviously Najah is this character that at the beginning of the book we didn't like, and I'm not saying I forgive him 100%, but I feel like it was, again, that like young people, like petty kind of like issue that they had, where, you know, they just wanted to be better than each other, and they kind of talked about that, but it's just not healthy. I hope that they don't end up together, and I understand, like, he's a Spearly, he's like the last of his kind, and he has this like the Phoenix god or whatever. And I get it that they lose their mind and da 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 da, but it's I'm trying to like understand the character and understand the fact that this might not be him, but at the same time you can't just ignore it, you know? It's not like he's like not trying to hurt her. He's torturing her in a way, like telling her, you can't do this, you can't do that, like come on, pushing her to her limits. And to an extent, I guess that would be helpful, because if, let's say for an example, you're doing homework or like you're in class and your teacher is like, for example, I used to take AP Spanish for high school, and our teacher was very smart, and she gave us lessons that were harder than what the test would actually be. At the end of the day, we're past it, so she was like pushing us more than we needed so that we could achieve more, you know? And like, whatever, I'm trying to fix, like, you know, words. But I don't think it works in this situation because he is so ruthless. I'm gonna go get the book. I'm loving this book. It is an amazing story, and I think it would actually make, it's kind of like, I've never watched Avatar, but like what people describe Avatar to be. But as you can see, I was loving this book, and then all of a sudden we see all these red ones pop up. And it's like, no. He choked her. She says, Alton, you're hurting me. And it says, his grip only tightened. You could at least effing try. And then he goes on to say, are you a toddler? Or are you perhaps an idiot masquerading as a soldier? You said you needed time. I've allotted you months. On Spear, you would have been disowned by now. Your family would have hurled you into the ocean for the sheer embarrassment. It says, this is when she's fighting the thing. What is it called? Chime. The Chime. That's the monster thing. It says, but she couldn't detach Alton's likeness from the Chime. They were one and the same. She loved it. She loved him. And he was going to kill her unless... Oh, and I was like, nope. No. Like, this... No. Like, we don't love him. Like, we don't love Alton. And I feel like Rin is a flawed character. And she deals with things in a very negative way. Like, self-harm and all these things. She's a flawed character. And she's definitely a teenager with emotions and all these things. And I'm glad this is an adult book, because I feel like if you're a young girl, you might think like, oh, this is how you get good grades. I'm gonna burn something in my hand, which I'm sure it's not what the author was going for. But I just don't like Alton. I really don't like him. And I really hope they don't, like, no. Also, I miss Gatai. Like, he was like the comic relief, and we've had like no comic relief. I'm loving this book. I love the story. I would love to see it made into a movie or a show or something like that. Alton can choke. Anyways, we'll see where it goes. We'll see if it resolves itself. I'm sure they're gonna feed me like, it was the Phoenix controlling me, and I'll be like, I look scary, I know, but let me explain. So, hi guys. This is the end of the reading vlog, and I filmed a review, and I wasn't completely happy about it. I felt like I couldn't articulate what I wanted to say, so I decided to just sit down and like try again. I'm still gonna insert some clips, and my spoiler-free review will be linked down below. I feel like I still have some things that I need to say before I upload it, and I don't want my thoughts to be a jumbled mess that they are. So, first of all, I want to talk about Rin, because I feel like I have this soft spot for her, because in my opinion, she's very different from other female characters that we have encountered, especially in the beginning of the book. She's very driven, and she knows what she wants, and she's gonna go out and she's gonna go get it. And she literally won't let anyone stop her. So in the beginning of the book, she is someone that I would look up to. Again, she goes about it the wrong way, but you can't deny the fact that she has motivation and she is dedicated and she will go to the ends of the earth to get what she wants. She's also a very complex character, in my opinion. She is honestly just a little girl who wants love. She grew up without her parents. She grew up in an abusive family, and she's never had that love and that, like, she's never had someone to tell her, like, you did a good job. So when she meets Alton and she has, like, all these, like, teachers and people that she can look up to, she will literally do anything to get their approval. That's literally what she wants. She wants people to approve of what she's doing. And that, in the end, is kind of her downfall, because she looks up to Alton and she wants him to tell her that she did a good job and that she can do whatever she wants. And she wants to be strong, and that leads to her becoming the thing that she hates. And that aspect also leads her to her abusive relationship. So it's not only Alton, it's kind of the way that she is that led her to this. I'm not blaming her for being in an abusive relationship. That's not what I'm trying to say. I don't want that to come across. I'm just saying that she already is the kind of person that seeks for approval and that needs that approval to feel good about herself and to feel like she's doing what she needs to be doing. So Alton takes advantage of that. I just wanted to mention that because Rin is very complex, and I feel like a lot of people don't like her because of these things, because she is so determined, and in her determination she becomes annoying, and she really is annoying, and she's like scared. All the years that she's at synagogue, she's saying how strong she is and how she can do anything, and she takes out her uterus. I think that's what she does. And she's trying really hard to become what she's wanted this whole time. She's working towards this one goal. And then once it's actually there, and once the war comes, she realized that she's not as strong as she thought she was. And she's kind of struck with reality, because this whole time she's been battling one person, which is Najah. She just wanted to be better than him, and that was her only focus. So she wasn't working on what would actually happen if a war actually came to her door. So when it happened, she didn't know what to do, and she was scared because this situation was real. Before, it was just petty drama and just stupid high school drama, all that stuff. But now that the war is actually here and her life is at risk and her friend's life is at risk, she's left with this decision where she has to kill someone, and it's not in a training room, and they are actually gonna die, and there's gonna be blood in her hands. And you know, that's Rin. I hope I got my feelings on her across and how I see her. I know that a lot of people don't agree with me because I like her as a character in a way. I don't think she's the best. I find her to be, again, very complex. And especially towards the end of the book, she gets very annoying. And again, I don't really blame it on her. I see it more of what Alton did to her, if that makes any sense at all. And then we see her become the person that she hates. In the end, she says, when Najah confronts her and is like, bro, you literally massacred a whole island. You became what you hated. You did to them what they did to us. And she's like, oh, they deserved it. It's kind of like, it makes you see what brings someone to be evil. This is how someone could become a villain, by going through all this hardship and then trying their best to fix it, and then by the end, without them even noticing, they're doing something worse. She battles and she has inner turmoils when it comes to the Phoenix. And at the end, she decides that she's gonna give in. And this, to her, is the right thing to do because she's going to save her people. And we have Zhang telling her, don't do it. And we have the spirally woman that is dead telling her not to do it, which I believe was the queen of the spiralies. So we have a lot of arguments when she has the ghost telling her, don't do it, you're gonna fail, you're gonna ruin yourself and everyone else, you're gonna doom the whole, like, everyone. And then we have Alton pushing her to be better, and her friends at the war camp to also, like, needing her to take the Phoenix Fire. So it's kind of like she doesn't know what to do, and in the end she makes the wrong choice. Also, I wanted to touch on some plot holes that left me a little bit like, why wasn't this discussed? The one that annoyed me the most is the fact that Sinigard, which is the capital, is left to be defended by the students. Maybe I'm wrong. Feel free to correct me down below. Maybe I didn't pay enough attention. Oh, here, I underlined it where Rin realizes that petty high school drama is over. It says, she saw it coming and she trembled. I wanted to hide. I want to hide. I want someone to tell me I'm going to be safe, that this is just a joke, a bad dream. In that moment, she realized that all this time she had been playing at being a soldier, playing at bravery. But now, at the eve of battle, she could not pretend anymore. The Federation, when they came to Sinigard, it was up to the students of Sinigard to defend it. They themselves had to take everyone out. And I understand that this is an academy for the military, but in my head, it's just kind of like, okay, but they're still students. They're still children. And maybe this is just like my brain in this world. I can't picture it. I can't picture even kids who are in a military school to this day. If war does come to, like, the city where they are in and they've not completed their whole training and they're not in a camp actually working, someone coming in and telling them, okay, you have to fight tomorrow. Like, I can't picture that. And I'm just like, it doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. Anyways, I also wanted to talk about Alton because I've said this before, but he can truly choke. I hope he's in hell wherever he is. I also talk about the pacing in my spoiler-free review, where some things, this is about to get really gross if I just leave it like that, but I have to let this area dry. I am so sorry. Is this really gross? You don't want to see this? Sorry. What was I saying? Oh, the pacing. He dies. He sacrifices himself, and I don't buy it, and I didn't get a chance to be like, oh, you know what? I feel bad for Alton. He went through so much. Like, oh no, he was drugged, so therefore he became an addict, and then, like, he didn't choose to be this. And I just, again, it literally was like, they got to their, like, they were taken from the tomb, and then they were taken to the doctor, and that same chapter, it felt like they already got out, and he sacrificed himself, and then she moved on, and then the book was over. Like, that happened so quickly that we didn't get a chance to be like, oh no, Alton is dead, you know? This is so cute. Should I take this off first and then continue? No, I'm gonna keep talking. Also, when Rin went against Zhang's advice and commandments that she was not to call on the gods, it made me very angry. And then when Zhang died, it was just like, ugh. So that's the point where when she goes against her master's commands, that's when I start being like, I don't like you, Rin, you were so annoying, like, don't do this, you know? But as much as I am rambling about it, I do have to say that I love the scenery and the feel. At the end of the day, I really enjoy the story and the book itself. I do have some issues with it. My final rating is going to be a 3.5. I will be checking out the next book, but if that next book disappoints me, I will not continue with the series. I'm not gonna bother, because if she doesn't get better or if it doesn't get interesting, then I just don't see why I would like waste my time on all that stuff, you know? Again, I talk about in my spoiler-free review that I hated the info dumping. It felt too long. I found the history very interesting, and I appreciated the fact that the world and its history was so complex, but at times it was like, okay, I'm so tired, can we move on, you know? Yeah, those are just the things that I wanted to add. I hope this made more sense. Again, feel free to leave any comments down below saying what I could improve. I just wanted to get this review out because you guys wanted me to read this. And I wanted to share my thoughts on it because I have very conflicting thoughts on this book. Yeah, I wanted to make some things clear, and yeah, this is it. Let's go.
Hello guys. So, you've made it to the end of the vlog. Aha! I'm going to be doing my nails while I talk about the Poppy War. Am I gonna change my nail polish? No. Am I gonna do a colorful nail art like my face? No. Nude all the way. I just thought it would be nice to do something while I talk about the book because this is gonna be. I just thought it would be nice to do something while I talk about the book because this is gonna be all my spoilery thoughts and feelings about every aspect of the book. At certain times, it felt like the same information kept getting repeated over and over and over again. There's this really nice and cute passage from Auntie Fong, and she says, "The first night is the worst, I'll give you that. Keep a wad of condom in your mouth, so..." Of condom. No. Keep a wad of cotton in your mouth so you don't bite your tongue. Do not cry out unless he wants you to. Keep your head down and do as he says. Become his mute little household slave until he trusts you. Eventually, kill him. Keeps saying how much her life is going to suck when she sells him over to this man and they have to consummate their relationship. We would meet people, get attached to them, and then never talk about them again. It happened a lot with her cousin and her teacher. She just never ever thought about them again until she was like, oh wait, I forgot about this person. And we're like, oh wait, yeah, I forgot this was a character. Which was really weird. She's very... The way that she thinks makes you angry, and you can definitely tell that Runin, her thoughts and the way that she thinks is not the same way that the author thinks, because then you get other people come in when she takes out her uterus or like make sure that she can never have kids again. We have another character come in and be like, you're crazy, why did you do this, this is wrong, which is very nice because I feel like if a young girl reads this and there wasn't a reiteration that you can be a woman and still be kick-ass and still be strong, then this would not be very good to read because you don't want other... Although this is not a YA book, people still go out of their genres to read other books. But yeah, that made me angry. She is very problematic. Whenever that happened, it made me think of Black Widow because I think that's kind of her backstory where she like can't have kids and she's in this academy and da-da-da-da. All that happens. Oh, John, he was so funny. But again, it was that thing where we got so attached to him and then we think he's dead and then she moves on and there's this whole war and then she's like, oh wait, John. Like, she focuses so much on Alton that she almost forgets everything that John was teaching her, which was very annoying. Oh yeah, and then we have this chunk where it literally says, everything is happening so fast, I'm confused. And it's her, and this is only 200 pages in, and we're already in the middle of the book. And there's like a whole war going on. And you have to remember, this whole chunk is basically 3 years jammed into this part. So we're really rushing through everything. And then we have this chunk, which kind of goes by pretty slow, because this, after all of these years, we have the war. And that's where the pacing is at. It's like kind of like, what is happening? We also have some people like Najah, which we hated in the beginning, and then they kind of were like, you know what? We used to fight, but we were like kids, so whatever we fought about was childish. And they got over that and they became friends. And that to me was perfect, because the way that they saw each other as children in the academy was a very competitive way. And Najah, I'm not going to defend him because he wasn't the greatest, but he also, I can understand where he's coming from. He's someone very important, so he has to live up to people's standards. So when Rin comes in and she's kind of a badass and she makes him look bad, he's gonna try to one-up her, and then they end up fighting and almost killing each other. Especially the part where they get invaded and they worked together. That scene was beautiful. He ends up dying in that scene, and we really see her struggle with the fact that she almost killed this guy once, and now they're working together, and then, oh wait, he's dead. So she goes through all of those emotions, and I really felt them with her, because I hated him, and then I was like, oh my god, they're so amazing, I love them together, they should date, and then it's like, oh wait, he's dead. And now they never really got to apologize to each other. It was never really said, like, hey, I'm sorry for trying to kill you, but now we gotta work together. Alrighty, I just thought I'd show you my progress. Look at my nails. Nice nude color. Anyways, the rest of my spoilery thoughts are, I really did not appreciate the romance between Alton and Rin. It was very... I think that's the thing that annoyed me the most, because all of Alton's actions felt like it led her to becoming the villain and becoming essentially what she hated. Especially at the end, where Katai explains to her that she literally is doing what she hates the enemy for. Like, she killed this whole island, and Katai is telling her how wrong she is, and she's just like, they deserved it. And I guess that's kind of where I can see where she's coming from, and I can understand that she's not exactly the perfect person, but at the same time, I kind of just want her to do good. So it's kind of like, I don't know how to feel about it, because the whole ride throughout the book and the scenery and all that stuff was very interesting, and I enjoyed almost everything. If you want to know... What was he gonna say? Okay, so with Najah, I felt like he kind of had a redemption arc, but with Alton, his was the fact that he's been taking all these drugs and they messed with his head, but we rushed over that part so quickly that I didn't even have a chance to grasp anything that happened. Like, when they get captured and the doctor is like messing with him and they give them drugs and he kind of like sacrifices himself. I can't really have that as his redemption arc because I still don't get it. Like, okay, we get it. He was constantly high and he was experimented on, but how am I supposed to forgive him for being unkind? And he literally left Najat to die. Like, he decided himself, I'm not going to save this guy. Even though I could let Rin save his friend, but I'm not gonna do that because just no. And I just don't get it. I don't get how she would like him. And I just like, ugh. And I just want Katai to be the love interest. You know? Like, Katai is my baby. And I'm conflicted. And if you're conflicted too, let me know down below in the comments. This is gonna be my spoilery thoughts. Hopefully you kind of understood what I was thinking. I'm still not 100% sure how I feel about this book, so I don't know how good this review is going to be, but that's just kind of it. My nails, all they need is a top coat, and that's it. So I'm just gonna leave this video as is. So yeah, let me know what you thought about the Poppy War if you read it. Let me know what you thought about this video, if there was anything I could have done better or whatever, or that I did do good. But yeah, this is my second review, or second book that I'm reviewing on this channel. So any criticism is welcomed. Please let me know how I can change it, or like whatever. Trying to learn here. But yeah, that is all for today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and comment down below. Thumbs up. And comment down below if you would like to be my friend. All of my social media is down below in the description box. And yeah, I'll see you guys on my next video. Bye guys.
Bye guys.
Bye guys. Are you mocking me?